All right. I think I'll try this again. It's like internet issues.
Yeah, we'll just do
Do as
chit
much
chat for
for
a
a
minute
couple
to
seconds.
see if it.
See if it stays. I don't know how it
Yep.
looks. All right, I know there was a couple that came on. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This is Rebecca Kahabatova and
Isaac Bina.
from Teshuva Ministries. And today is Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom. Did I already say that? I don't know. Yeah. So it's Shabbat. It's a beautiful day here where we are. I hope it's beautiful where you are. And hopefully the internet is working now. I was going to give it one more try, and then I was going to take it as Papa saying, nope, don't want you to be doing this, Rebecca. So if it keeps going, fantastic. If it stops, if it internet dies, then I'm just going to take that as Papa saying, not the time to be going live and talking about stuff like this. Anyway, so on one hand, it's a beautiful day outside, and on the other hand, my heart's a little heavy. So, and it's heavy because of the nonsense going on out in the world right now, and I just thought that I would like to bring Isaac along today and just chit chat about the nonsense, and also kind of bring our minds and focus our minds on what actually we can do to prevent madness and prevent from going insane, and as we navigate the end of the age, because I think it's going to be a little bit of it's going to take some thought as to how to do this when we're in the midst of it. So I think that Yeshua has the solution, and I want to show you what that is. So here we go. So go ahead, and Isaac's got his phone. So if you want to say anything or ask a question or something for us to talk about, then please shoot it, and Isaac's going to read it to me. So, and I'll try to respond to any comments that are made via Isaac. Yay! All right. So first of all, it's completely nuts out there. We went for a walk this morning, and we were out on this beautiful path by the river, and there was, oh my gosh, there was like this older couple that came on the other side of the path, and they had masks on, and I mean, I've never seen anybody do this in this whole experience so far. I've never seen anyone do this. What did they do?
So the path is about 12 feet wide.
Yeah.
And as we approached to pass them, then they basically started hugging the rail on their side with their backs towards us.
They both leaned
trying to get like
as far away from us as they possibly
every
could.
possible inch away from us they could.
And it's probably because we didn't have masks on, and we must, be carrying the virus or something, and they're terrified.
Or they've tested positive or something.
Yeah, right. Like they care about the other person. I don't think so. So, I'm kind of just every time the more and more this insanity goes on, the more insane I feel everyone is getting. And I look at these people, and I got kicked out of Costco the other day. I went in and gave him a piece of my mind. Then I went back in and gave him another piece of my mind. And then I called and gave him a piece of my mind. My daughters went into a place, a place where they've gone into since they were little. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And they scanned them without my daughters knowing, and temperature scanned them. So they walked through the door, and there was a gun pointed and a lady behind the desk, and she waved them on. My daughters didn't understand that she had actually already taken their temperature, whether they wanted it or not. And I was livid. I laid into them so bad. there's just experience after experience after experience. Now, the grocery stores here in town that I've been able to go to, have now recently just kicked out my friends who just texted me and told me that we can't go anymore to these stores. I want to preserve soundness of mind. So how do we do that as the end of the age gets stranger and stranger?
Well, I'm afraid it might be too late for me. I think I've already lost my mind.
You've already lost your mind? I feel like I've lost my mind on one hand, and that I'm like, ah! No, it's not. But it's not that I've lost my mind. It's that I'm like, I know what this is about. I know where this is going. Yeshua said not to worry because we all know where this is going. But for me, you live 50 some years of your life with seeing the majority of people looking like people. And then you come across like a year of your life when people don't look like people anymore. And you're like, huh, what's that? And so it's a little bit of a mind bender. And the fact that people actually want this is what blows me away. Somebody just said something. Can you see that right there? Nope, just gone.
Well, I don't show anything new on my phone.
So, do you see that? Does it showing up on your phone?
No.
Huh. Maybe refresh, maybe?
No.
I'm trying to figure it out. I think if we go like this. Oh, there you go. Right here. I need my glasses. Tammy's here. And David's here. And Samantha's here. Cool. All right. So I know that I don't want to keep everyone forever. In fact, we're gonna go for a walk when we're done here. But let's just talk about what how Yeshua. I think there is a solution to the idea of going insane. Like, we don't have to go insane, obviously. The Scripture says not to go insane, right?
Okay, so just to be clear.
Yes.
Make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Okay.
You're talking about the world going crazy.
Yes.
But you're also talking about what's going on out there is making you crazy.
Yeah, it does.
So are we talking about how to address people in the world who seem to be going and doing crazy things? Or are you talking about how this is affecting someone like you, and how do you keep from letting it drive you crazy?
I think it would be both. I think it would be both. Like I said, I think, when you look out there and you see what's going on, it really is a mind bender, and it's like, what's going on? And the more I come into contact with it, the more difficult it is for me to accept the fact that these people are participating in this. It really blows my mind in that sense. And then on the flip side, or not on the flip side, but again, also like to not be sucked into the insanity. As the world goes insane, I really feel like to not be sucked into the insanity, Yeshua, I think, has a formula for us so that we can keep that soundness of mind. So I think on both hands. I mean, like okay, let's just look at what he talks about here, and then I think once we see that and make sure and hold it tight in our hearts as to what Yeshua says, and what the Scripture says about keeping soundness of mind, then we can explore that. And I think focusing on that is going to help, like me, from looking at the world and being, and it's also going to help people from the priests of Yeshua from getting sucked into the insanity and going and joining the world in the madness and losing out on soundness of mind. And
sucked into participating.
Yeah, to participating
not sucked
into
obsessing over or watching what the world's doing, but to actually participate.
To participate, but no, that's a good point you make. Like sucked into it as far as No, I think it would include both those things.
Okay.
To be obsessing over it and stuff. And I don't obsess over it unless I'm out and it's in my face. That's when I get mad. Like, you know, it's just, I mean, we found Igor this morning. We found Igor. I'm happy about Igor. So we went to...
A nice man named Igor is what she's talking about.
So we went to a place, we were like a really cute little coffee shop we were thinking, you know, would be a nice little whatever. And of course you couldn't, they wouldn't serve us without us wearing the mask. And then Sanity's like stupid. Anyway, so then we left there and went to another place, and it was a Russian who was named Igor, and he didn't have a mask and he didn't require us, but it was really nice. So we had a really nice experience this morning. So, okay, so let's just look for a second. Let's look at, I want you to read some scriptures for me while I'm sorry, we're rambling a little.
So I'll just hold that.
You just look up there and okay. So let's just look here for a little bit at some text about soundness of mind. Okay, so let's look at Proverbs 2:7. So look up Proverbs 2:7. Sorry, I'm not like super like on today simply because it's Shabbat and I'm like relaxing, and wasn't planning to do this until very last minute idea. So Proverbs 2:7. What's it say?
Well, you seem pretty on.
Really? Ugh. But that's okay.
Proverbs 2:7.
Yeah.
He holds victory in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless.
Cool. All right, let's go to Ephesians 6:12. Shield to those whose walk is blameless. Ephesians 6:12. So Shabbat Shalom if you're just joining. I am Rebecca Kahabat-Yahava, and this is
Isaac.
we're from Teshuva Ministries, and it is obviously, like I said, it's Shabbat, and we just I just thought I wanted to pull Isaac into this to go live to talk about the craziness in the world and how to have soundness of mind and what Yeshua says, and what I am seeing in here I wanted to share with you. So go ahead. What is it? Ephesians 6:12.
For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms.
Okay, so we're not fighting against human beings here. This is a fight with much bigger entities that are in the heavenly realms. Wow. Okay, 2 Timothy 1:7. 2 Timothy 1:7. See how this one. No, just
1:7?
yes. 2 Timothy 1:7.
Wow, that's small.
You want my glasses?
For Elohim did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and of self-discipline.
I think in some places it says sound mind, like a sound mind.
I think that's correct.
Yeah. So Yehovah gave us the spirit of a sound mind. That's interesting. A spirit of a sound mind? This is a spirit of a sound mind, right? What does it say? Is that what it said?
Spirit of self-discipline.
Well, yeah, but in the self-discipline. But sound. I think in some translations it says soundness of mind, sound of mind. It should be a spirit of sound mind. Interesting. Okay, let's do. Let's see, Romans 12:2. Romans 12:2.
Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what Yah's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Oh, that goes off of what I just looked at, as far as, like, I looked at the definition of soundness of mind according to the dictionary and stuff. And I'm going to have you read that one more time because I thought that that goes off onto here. which, let's see, okay, so soundness of mind or sobriety as opposed to madness. Okay, so having the ability to discriminate between what is real and what is not, what is right versus wrong, and what is wrong. You read that one more time, will you?
Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what Yah's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Yeah, so you'll be able to know what is right and wrong. Right? Be able to test and to be discriminate between, differentiate between right and wrong. That is part of what somebody who has soundness of mind would be able to do, right? And those who are mad will not be able to do that. And so when I go out there and I see these people who are participating in this nonsense, I feel like they can't discriminate between right and wrong. Can you look at that? You just push it over. Push, just slide your finger, I think. Just put your finger on the screen. No, you go like right here. There you go. What's it say? Read. I can't see. Is that Samantha? No, go over to in the center. Yeah, there you go.
Just go anywhere, and there's so much strange behavior going on. People refuse to look at you or get anywhere near you.
I know.
We are losing our humanness, and not in a good way.
I know, right, Samantha? Like, our humanness is like, and this is where it's a dehumanization thing to do this. I saw somebody's, I think it was Dr. Mercola, who had a graph up that showed like this really path to like really nasty stuff, and part of it was the dehumanization. What did she say right there? I wonder if you can see this now.
Losing the image.
Oh, yes. Losing the image. One. See if, and that's not working.
Would be the image of our Elohim that we were created in.
Right. Yep. Let's see, I don't know where you see your messages.
I don't know. They just gave me the first two. And
then you didn't get it anymore. I know, so we're losing that. So image, I don't know if you guys remember, but I had a Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl show. It was I think it was 4-part series on bearing the image, being image bearers. And I am, at that time, which was 2 years ago, I really felt like we were losing. The image bearers were disappearing. I think that's what it was called, the disappearing image bearers. And I'm like blown away at how far we've come in 2 years and feel like it's completely going away. But so one of the things that we're going to talk about today is the image bearing thing. So thank you, Samantha, for bringing that up, because I actually that's where we're going to go after we read these scriptures and a little bit more text. You can't find it? No? That's weird. You should be able to see the...
Yeah. Gave me, just like I said, just the first...
live chat. Huh.
And that's it.
What's that? Top chat. Live chat. All messages are visible? That's weird. I don't think so, because I saw... So we're losing the image. Yes, Isaac, that's true, my favorite. Okay, if we're not responding right away, just forgive us. For some reason, he's not being able to get it there on his phone. Okay, so let's, I got just a couple more verses for you to read in 2 Corinthians 11:3. So write down 2 Corinthians 11:3. Maybe I'll just put these on top of my head. Ooh, I should go get my other ones. Hi, Darlene. Hi, Darlene. Ooh, is that your favorite? Let's see. 2 Corinthians 11:3. What does that say?
But I'm afraid that just as Hava was deceived by the serpent's cunning, your minds may somehow be led astray from your sincere and pure devotion to Yeshua HaMashiach.
Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, that is really good for where we're going. Okay, we'll do that again. Okay, and then 2 Corinthians 10:5. sincere devotion. That is a great one for where we're going. 2 Corinthians 10:5.
We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of Elohim, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Yeshua.
Taking captive thoughts to be obedient. Ooh, that's another good one, though. Captive thoughts. Ooh, that's going to go really good with to where I'm going with this. Okay, and then one more verse, Colossians 3:2.
Colossians.
I know, right?
Where's Colossians?
Colossians 3:2.
Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things.
That's good, too. That's really good. That's good where we're going to go as well. Cool. Okay, so I just want to read you just a little quick thing I looked at what soundness of mind means. As I said before, as opposed to madness, soundness of mind or saneness or being rational is having the ability to discriminate between what is real and what is not, what is right and what is wrong. And as opposed to madness, madness disposes men to act irregularly, furiously, and extravagantly. I think you could
Extravagant.
like big, like huge, like, and that's what I feel like the people who we met on the walk today, how they like leaned so far over the fence. I mean, we were up high. It was a bridge, and it was over, a river, and like they couldn't get farther away, far enough away from us. And I thought, if Isaac was like, I wonder if we like walked towards them, if they would, jump. I was like, anyway, soundness of mind implies recollection. Check this out. It implies recollection, which would be like the whole remembering thing. You know how Yehovah says, remember, remember, remember. So being able to pull back from memory, recollection. Calmness, discretion, the guidance of control of reason. That's interesting. The guidance of control. I think they would have all over the place. In fact, where we were walking, Samantha, there was graffiti that said, take off the mask and be free, and different things like that all over the place. And these people were old enough they probably have grandkids, and they probably know how colds and flus work, that it just comes and then it goes. But no, they've bought this, what is it? People have said, like, you've drunk the wine of this madness. Yeah. What does that say? Up there, Isaac. Can you read that? No. I'll get it.
I'm getting
you're getting them. Nice.
Candy says, people have run from me and my husband.
They've run from you guys.
That's gotta be, it's laughable, but at the same time, it's kind of sad.
Well,
it could break your heart and make you also feel like what's wrong with me?
Well, it's because what they're trying to do is make you fearful of each other, because then in the end, they'll turn you on, they're trying to, what I think is they're going to turn us onto each other, not us, but they're trying to turn people's hearts against each other, so that you have, just a ripe situation for all kinds of nastiness. So that's, I was going to say, Tammy was going to say that one of my friends was at a checkout stand, and she went through line to check out, and she didn't have the mask on or anything, but after she left, the guy came over and sprayed Lysol in the air where she had been standing. That's nuts. Oh my goodness. Somebody said, hi, how do you say it? Nidia? Shalom, I know of even unbelievers who are now awake to the covenant. Yeah, I know, and I'm wondering, and Nidia, I hope I said your name right. Nidia? Did I say that right? They're just missing the main piece. I know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're missing Yeshua, and which is where we're going to go with this in just a moment, because that's what I wanted to do today, was just share with you what I feel that the Scripture says and that Yeshua said, in order for us to not drink the wine, of this insanity, and how to stay stay sane, because I do think it's going to take a little bit of intentionality as we navigate the end of the age. So I don't think we can just go, oh, yada, 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 it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. I'm just going to go ahead and wear the mask and do this and that and then be on. I know believers who are wearing the mask right now because they don't think it's a big deal and they're just going along with it. But they say to me all the time, they're like, oh, when the vaccine comes, I won't do that. And I'm like, really? Really? Okay, so you're uncomfortable right now with not being, you've got to have that toilet paper, you've got to have that food. So I'll just put the mask on so I can go get that. But then when it becomes a vaccine that you have to do that, have you practiced saying no? Have you practiced, exercising that conviction muscle now when things are not as bad as they're going to get? We were talking about that earlier. Like, that something that Isaac and I were talking about earlier on our walk today was we grew up Seventh-day Adventist. So what were we saying about that?
Well, that we've had to say no to things our whole life.
Right.
Because for religious reasons. And so we've had some practice.
Right.
It's not a brand new thing.
Right. And I feel like a lot of I can see a lot of my friends who are Sunday keepers and stuff who haven't really had to say no to too much. They're coming against this and it's slowly ebbing away their conviction on it, their resolve on it, because they really haven't had to exercise that muscle. But us growing up as Adventists, ever since I was born, there were things I couldn't do. So it was like, no swim meet, no this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll do something else. Oh, okay, well, we'll do something else. Or, there was always, I'll get another job or blah, 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 blah. So there's always been this exercise of that muscle. And so now to me, that part of it isn't such a big deal that I can't go into different places because, fine, I'll go somewhere else. And, but for some of our friends who haven't exercised that muscle, their resolve, like Isaac said, is just getting less and less. And so I wonder, they say, oh no, we won't take the vaccine. Okay, really? Like, I'm not seeing the fruit of your conviction now. How is that going to happen in the future? So we have let me see what they're saying. So we did, I get excited. Nadia, I get excited. I'm like, yes, you're almost there. Scales healing up. I know. My answer is no. Sammy, I heard this morning the darkness is being uncovered, so is the real truth. Yes, Tammy. Samantha, we are living in a generation where no doesn't exist. Oh, yeah. And Gwen, hi Gwen. Hi. So what are we supposed to do if the vaccine becomes mandatory? How are we going to pay our bills? I'm a nurse, so if one place makes it mandatory, the next one will. So I'm like stuck. No, you're not stuck, actually. You're going to exercise your faith in Yehovah to provide for you. Okay, so Gwen, as I've said before, you've got to look at what the mark of the beast is. So we don't believe that the mark of the beast is the mask. It's not the mask, but the mask is a conditioner for that. So the mark of the beast, the specific, I guess I didn't talk about this on YouTube. We talked about this in the ladies group, I think. Maybe I didn't do this on YouTube. But the mark of the beast, specifically, you can look to see an identifier in that, and the specific identifier is you can't buy or sell without it. So that right there, you have to really look at. And if it comes down to I can't buy or sell without the vaccine, what does the scripture say about that mark? That mark is a dangerous mark. You take that mark, it's game over. Like, it's done. You're not going anywhere good. That's what it says in Revelation. Those who take, those who take the mark of the beast, those who have the mark of the beast, and those who, let's see, what is it? Mark of the beast and his image all get thrown into the abyss. So this is time to practice relying on Yehovah. So I'm going to not just suggest, but I'm going to point you to the scriptures that says, it's time to really fully lean on him. And if that causes you to lose your job, so what? In the end, he will pay your bills. In the end, he will provide for you. If you obey him, remember you're supposed to fear him and not man, right? So that might sound a little callous, but I'm just looking at what the scripture says. And if I said anything different, I would be in violation of what the scripture says for us to do, because I don't want you to take that mark. You can't take that mark. If you take that mark, it's game over. Okay? So we got people responding here. What is, anything you want to, what? You want to say something? He looks like he wants to say something. Yes, what do you want to say?
No, I mean, that is it. I do think that the situation right now with the mask, I do think it's, in a way, it's the gift of a practice test.
Yeah.
You know, an opportunity to practice where the consequences are not too severe. And but we want to make sure that we pass the practice test so that we can go into the real
the real test.
The real thing with confidence.
See, this is all about, and this is where I'm going with this. This is all self-preservation. Okay, so if you're worried about paying your bills and you will have to take the vaccine in order to pay your bills, then who are you depending on? Who is your Elohim? You are pretending to be your own Elohim because you're going to save yourself. When the scriptures are super clear, don't take the mark. And like I said, and maybe I'll have to figure out how to do this on YouTube, but we looked at the whole, all the stuff regarding the mark and what it actually is and looks like and all that jazz. And it's something you receive, actually. So the word there where it says those who receive the mark of the beast, it's that word receive. We did some research on it, and it's not, in fact, you did that. It's not the strong, violent receive where, you know, you're going to be forced, as in somebody's going to tie you down and shove it in. Neither is it the passive one. Oh, hi, it does. Neither it is the passive where, you know, it doesn't matter what, you know, it's kind of like whatever. It's it's middle ground, wasn't it? So it's more of a between the two. So it's a receive, but you still have to, they're going to push it, but you still have to receive it. So it's actually open for your own free will. At least that's what we're seeing in Revelation. And part of that is what it's saying about that mark. So all I'm saying is what the scripture says is don't take the mark no matter what. You have come way too far. It's cost you way too much to this point to let go of your reward with simply, bye Hadassah.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. Okay. So you know how Yeshua says, don't let any man steal your crown. Okay, so that infers that we could have a crown and lose it. So I really want to stress that this is the challenge in this day and age, that we could actually lose what we have gained. And this is the big test. And like Isaac said, the mask thing is a test. It's like the test to the test. It's the pre-test. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, will you tell me if I'm saying your name right? Is it Nadia? It's a beautiful name. Interesting that the Torah portion this week talked about selling the birthright for a bowl of soup. Yes, I saw that. That is so cool. Love the live streams as a couple. Oh, hi Forest Kingdom. I can't remember. I know who you are. I just can't remember. It's a choice of value marriage. Yes, Tammy. It's our choice. That's right, Tammy.
Somehow our will, our freedom of choice will be protected through this in that it's not going to be forced on us against our will. It'll have to be something that we deliberately choose. And so we will have that freedom to choose or not through it all. And so that's what we need to practice and exercise.
Yeah, that's why I'm really strong on that, and I just feel like this is a great time to practice. Practice as if it's it, and say no. And we've been there. Like Gwen, going back to your comment about, you know, what if I need my job? How am I going to pay my bills? I mean, we lost everything in 2009, 8, 9, somewhere in that, right after we came into contract with Papa. We lost everything and moved into a teepee, and we survived for 4 years with 2 little girls in the teepee. We're alive. We're well. We're healthy. We went through a very hard time, yes, but we're here, and our girls are here, and it's, you know what I'm saying? Papa provided like over and over and over and over in that situation, just constantly like saying, remember, I'm here. But he'd push us. He would push us. He would say, how far are you willing to go, Rebecca? And he'd push us.
Yeah. So I think we got our the sign that it's time to transition.
Okay, cool.
And go to the next phase with this comment that just came in.
But okay, Erica asked, Shalom, Rebecca and Isaac, just a question. Will there be a shelter in place for Melchizedek priests, priestesses to flee to when we exercise our no in the near future? Like a safe place. Uh-huh. That's what everybody... Where do you go? Oh, where's the safe place? What do you say? Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this, I see here the question of like, okay, I think that connects to how do you preserve sanity?
Yeah. I think, Erica, when we were basically fleeing to the teepee, and we got there, and it was really hard, and I remember trying to figure out, well, where do we go? Like, at that time, we thought the end was close. Remember? We thought the end was going to be in 2017, and we were like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? And so we were looking at like the Dominican Republic and Costa Rica and just all these different places, and then we like landed on, well, maybe we should just go home to Israel and blah, 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 and then found out we can't get home to Israel because you can't make Aliyah if you believe in Yeshua, yada, yada, yada. And then all these other countries were like, well, wait a minute, as a Melchizedek priest, I'm going to be celebrating his feast all year long. That's a given. I can't not do that. And I'm going to have to assemble, which means I have to ask other people. So for in other countries, how's that going to turn out when they're worshiping pagan gods too, for me to reach out? It's going to be everywhere. Like, and we came to the conclusion there is no safe place except right where Papa has you. And sometimes being in the eye of the storm is a better place than outside, right? So wherever Papa sees you and wants you, right? And so it was like, okay, we'll just make sure that he wants us here. So that's kind of where we landed, was like, do you want us here? Do you want us here? Do you want us here? And I kept testing, and pretty soon he said, okay, it's time to go over here. And so then we got to move and blah, blah, blah. So as far as a physical location, I go ahead.
Well, I can speak for Rebecca that she does not feel called to put her light under a bushel and hide.
None of us are, yeah.
I don't see that instruction in the scriptures.
No, he says to put your light up on a lampstand. He says to stand up on their house and speak the good news and stuff. So, and we're going to look at the Great Commission here in a second, but yeah.
So, I think it's a time to resist the urge
to hide. So Erica, we're going to, as far as a place, an actual physical location, that's a God-sized, that's an Elohim-sized question. that's a Yahweh question. And that is, I know that the repent and return back to the land, I know that's in there. And man, how much he knows that we want to do that. But at this point, we can't afford it, can't go, they don't allow it, blah, blah, blah. You'd have to like do stupid things to get over there, all this other stuff. So at this point, it's like walking in the Spirit, walking with the Ruach HaKodesh as she's leading, as to, okay, so I'm open to you leading. What does that mean? You want me to let go of everything? Yes, let go of everything. Okay, so where are you going to take us? Kind of thing. But we have there's a protocol in here that Yeshua gives as to what he wants his priests to be doing, even until the end of the age, even until he comes. Like, he's already told us what to do. So no matter where we are, I feel that this is doing what he told us to do is going to preserve our soundness of mind in whatever situation we find. So we know of people, I know there's some comments that have just come up, but we know of people up in, do I dare say a location?
Doesn't matter.
We know people.
Mountains.
The mountains. Okay, we know groups of people up in the mountains who are digging tunnels to live in through the end of the age. And I'm sorry, these are believers, and I'm sorry, but I don't see any protocol in the scriptures that says we are supposed to hide. It's not there. Everything he says is to be a light. He says, you are the light of the world. Who else is going to be the light of the world? If you're the salt, if you're not salt, if you're, not salty and you're not salting his stuff, then be thrown out on the road to be trampled on, right?
Yeah. So I can see from the comments that we're definitely...
Are we on the right path or not right?
We're on the right path because, we're tapping into...
Okay.
Probably a big question here.
Yes, I'm sure.
And, we're striking a nerve or
tapping
a chord or hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Poking in the right place, so to speak.
Let's see. Tammy says, hi, Kirk. Shabbat from Missouri. Hello. Tammy, people are saying that the second Exodus is going to happen and people are buying RVs and buses. What do you think about that? We actually bought a bus. And I'd have to tell you that story later as to why, but we'll tell you more of that later. But yeah, let's see. Lonnie, be still. And hey, Lonnie, did you know that the be still command most of the time in there? It's interesting when Yehovah is when you see that be still and know that I am Yehovah in the scriptures. In the when he's talking about the I think it's the Egyptians or whatnot, be still. He's talking about them to be still, not Israel. So sometimes he's telling Israel to just be calm. I got this. But there's other times when you look at the Hebrew root of that and you look at the context, and it's not about Israel staying still and being still. It's about the enemies being still and watch and know that I am Yehovah. That's what he says. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like when Yeshua calmed the storm, rebuked the storm,
and
said, be still.
So he wasn't telling the disciples to be still on the boat. He was telling the storm to be still.
Right.
So what else is, let's see. Darlene, I believe Yehovah will shelter us and put us in a safe place. It's all about trusting. Yeah. Yep. William, y'all are a blessing. Thank you. Nadia, let us not be like Jonah and run. We must continue to shine and light. Yeah, exactly. Kirk, what about fleeing to the wilderness? Good question. William, he will place us to where he wants us to be, so we may do what he wants. And Lonnie, amen. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so who is it? Let me see. Kirk, what about fleeing to the wilderness? Okay, so I'm not saying that you shouldn't, that there's not a time and a place for that. I'm not saying that's true. We love the mountains. In fact, we have plans for some stuff there. But that's what I'm talking about is like being proactive in listening to Yehovah, proactive in doing what Yeshua said to do, no matter where you are. So, fleeing to the wilderness, he said, what does he say in there? He says, when you see these things in Jerusalem, then you're supposed to get out, right? But he's very specific about that location, right? And the events.
It's when certain events happen in that city, then it's time to leave
Jerusalem and get out. So it's in that command right there is really specific as to what you're looking for, and that don't go back and get your coat, don't go back down, just get out of town and go to the wilderness. So in that scripture that it talks about fleeing to the wilderness is very specific. Now, living in the mountains, living in the country, you're going to be so much more blessed than when you live in the city. Right now, we're in the city, and I cannot wait to get out in the country again, out in the mountains, actually. And that's kind of, we became mountain people when we got taken to the wilderness and got taken to our wilderness into the mountains. And I feel safe there. I feel like I can see the stars. I feel like I can breathe. I feel like there's more normal people out there. I don't have to deal with all the nonsense in town and stuff. So definitely follow Yehovah's guidance on that. I would never, ever say, that he never said to you, don't, to not have a little bit more provision and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is not to be so focused on self-preservation. So let's go, I want to move into the soundness of mind just for a sec so we can keep talking about this through the eyes of what I want you to see. Okay, so soundness of mind as opposed to superstition. So let me just read this for a second. A person in the dark sees nothing distinctly and is very apt to form confused and erroneous ideas of things around them. Okay, his imagination will take on whatever form and color it wants. He sees nothing in its proper form or proportion. Soundness of mind is preferring the substance to the form. All right. Soundness of mind is preferring the substance to the form. So I just feel like right now we've got people who, the call is on, the world's call to us is to leave our soundness of mind behind and just, be superstitious, become mad with drinking the wine of their I don't have words for it, like their stupidity. I don't feel like it's not based in reason at all. The numbers don't, just everything, okay? So, soundness of mind. I want to suggest that, just like I think it was Samantha who said at the very beginning, that the image bearers, like we're losing image bearers, right? And I feel like if we go back to what we were created for and what we were created, in whose likeness we were created, which we were made in the image of Elohim, male and female. So if you look at them and you know who we're made in the image of, I want to look at their character first for a moment. What is the one thing that we know for sure about this family in heaven? What are they called in the scriptures?
Elohim.
Well, true. Mighty ones, but Elohim is
love.
Love. Elohim is love. Okay, so what is love? Love is, by definition, other-centered. Okay? So Ty Gibson talks about in one of his teachings that we just recently listened to, that if you want to go mad really, really quick, what you do is you think about yourself all the time, and you'll go completely mad. You'll lose your mind by thinking about yourself 100% of the time. When I see people out there with the mask, like these people who did this morning and stuff, all they're thinking about is themselves. They are self-preserving, okay? If you're going to be super worried about your physical state, as we come down into the end of the age, if you're going to be so over worried about that, that's all you think about and that's what you obsess about and you're so super worried about, then you're starting to self-preserve. You're going to think about yourself and you think about yourself only, and you're going to go mad. Okay? Are you tracking with me?
I think so.
Okay. I think I had some other comments here. The lungs of the Lord is my only... Walter, the loving arms of the Lord is my only refuge. Yes. Okay, I was being reminded of what happened in Daniel 3 when reading the comments. Erica Ford, I was going by the great tribulation of Matthew 24. And then Erica, you nailed it. Okay, did you have anything to say on that? Because I'm going to keep going.
Well, I just want to comment because I know that some people are obsessing over the mask, not out of self-preservation, but because they believe...
You're worried. Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to stop you.
Oh, that's important. That's what it's important for them to do to protect other people. So love is being redefined. They're using the word kindness.
Right.
But it's being redefined as how that's demonstrated. Mm-hmm. And so the people are allowing someone else's agenda mm-hmm. to define the word for them, and then they're letting their actions follow. Mm-hmm.
And remember what Yeshua said? He said, don't call, who is good? There's only one that is good, that is Yehovah. So we can look and say there's only really one that is love, and that's the family in heaven, Yehovah. And they're going to be the ones to tell us how to love, right? And they already did. So it's not tolerance, and it's not following a crowd to do evil and to spreading a lie. I mean, like, that's what the mask is. So the idea of, I'm going to be loving to you because I'm going to put my mask on because I want to love you. No. That's as bad as tolerance and tolerance of sin. Because that is tolerance of sin, actually, because Yahweh says, in Exodus 20, do not lie, right? That's one of the 10, for heaven's sakes. And then he says in Exodus 23:1, basically, don't follow a crowd to do evil. Don't purport a lie, kind of thing. And that is exactly what this is. If you do your study and your homework, this is a lie, and we all know it. And if you just bow to this God and wear it because you're afraid of man and what man's going to do, what side of don't fear man but fear Yehovah, what side of that does it put you on? You really have to think through this, people. And I don't feel like everyone's thinking through this. And so that's one reason I wanted to go kind of live today, is just encourage you to really think through this and give this a lot of thought, because you're going to be losing your jobs. You're going to be, having to move. Perhaps you're going to have to be finding other places to shop. That's okay. Yehovah will provide. He provided for Israel in the past, and this is where he says all the time, he says, remember, remember, remember. Why does he tell us to remember it? Every single feast time, almost, he tells us to remember, right? With Passover, he says, remember that I did this. Remember that I destroyed your enemies. Remember that I took you out. Remember. Why? Because there might be a time when you're not sure where he is, right? And you just got to remember. And then you have your own things to remember in your own life. We can look back, at the teepee time, at other times where he has come through like huge. And it's like, you got to remember that you're going to be okay, Remember the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, their story? Was it in their prayer, or is it in the Apocrypha, or where they say, King, I'm sorry. We're not going to, I'm sorry. They didn't say I'm sorry. But King, we will not bow down to your God, to you, whatever, the statue. Whether our Elohim saves us or not is not our problem, but we know the law, our Yah's law, and we're not going to bow down. End of story. So they didn't know when they got thrown into that fiery furnace that they were going to be saved. They were ready to just say, I'm not breaking Yah's law.
Yeah.
So this is the time to practice. Anyway, go ahead.
And we also are practicing not, like they say, not missing the forest for the trees. Some of the signs, sayings floating around out there aren't completely wrong. It's good to be kind. It's good to protect other people. But that's one tree that they're trying to get people to focus on and get them to miss the forest, right? Now, we are in a position to be able to see the forest pretty well because we're not really in the trees. We don't really live in the trees, I don't think. Just because of the nature of our work. Now, somebody who's in the medical field, who is receiving constant input every day from that side, that person is kind of in the trees, and that's going to be a bit more of a trick to
challenge,
to not miss the forest. But then we want to come back to those of us who have clarity on the mask issue, but might be leaning towards getting caught up in self-preservation, worry about the future, worried about our family's future and things like that. We could also be missing the forest by focusing on that tree. What trees are we missing by focusing on that one, and the larger kingdom goals, the larger story.
Well, and that's where I really want to go to is, what did Yeshua say? And I feel like we have a rabbi. Our rabbi told us what to do, and so that's what we need to do. Like until we hit the dirt, until he comes and we float up in the air with him, until he says no more is needed. I mean, we have to and I feel like that's going to keep us in our lane, basically. That's going to keep us acting and operating as priests no matter what you do for a living. It may change what you do for a living, honestly. It may change. I mean, if you can't consciously be in that career anymore because of the things that are coming down, then leave. I don't understand why we have so little faith in what Yehovah can do for us. We just have so much experience with him coming through, but here's the trick. Here's the thing. He's not going to send you a letter in the mailbox to tell you, okay, you need to quit this and go. He's not going to do that. Doesn't happen. He's already given us a letter. He's already told us what to do. You're supposed to seek him first with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength, all your everything, correct? You're not supposed to spread lies. You're supposed to keep the feast days. You're supposed to keep Shabbat. He's already laid out everything that we're supposed to do. And so, I feel like we just forget. I think we're forgetful. I think we've forgotten what he's capable of. And so what we said before is he needs us to move, to do something. Okay, so he's not gonna, most of the time, He's not going to come in a vision to you and tell you exactly what to do. He's not going to send you a letter in the mail and tell you exactly what to do. He's not going to send a prophet to your house to tell you exactly what to do. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do because I don't know your life or your story. But what he does need is for you to do something. If you don't do something, he can't work with it, right? We've talked about this a lot. Like if there's two choices and you sit in limbo for freaking ever, I mean, how can he work with that? You've got to make a choice. You are a free will person. He's given you free will. Unlike the world, he doesn't want to control you. Okay? He wants to woo you into a romantic marriage type arrangement with him. He wants to woo you. He believes that love is stronger than death. And love is the power force. That's who they are. And they believe that they can bring you on board with them through love, not control, and not fear. So they're going to give you true free will, which means that they're willing, and you can see it in the scriptures, how Jehovah is willing to work with people in real time. You see it with Moses, who begs for the life of Israel, and he says, okay, fine, I'll relent. You know, I mean, you see it in Hezekiah, he asks for, to get an extra 24 hours, he gets it. I mean, or extra years, and anyway, you know what I'm saying. So, anyway, what are people saying? I'm like,
oh, good stuff. And if
good
you've
stuff.
Just joined us recently, we are we're being thankful that we have an opportunity to practice some of these things. So if we're not getting it right every time, it's okay because we don't believe this is the mark of the beast yet. But we have a great opportunity, to practice some stuff. And the heat is getting turned up, in the frying pan, and so we got some opportunities, to practice some little jumps,
Yep.
And Papa will be faithful, and then, before we move up to some bigger jumps.
Yeah, and you know how you get to know who somebody is through crisis? When crisis happens, then you really find out what that person is made of and what their character is and stuff. And that's why, when Yeshua got driven, after his mikveh, got driven into the wilderness for his crisis, for his, the mikveh of suffering, and you got to really know his character then. And then after he passed that mikveh of suffering and he guarded Yehovah's covenant really well, and he didn't buy the wine that Hasatan wanted him to buy, that's when he got basically his role in the kingdom, which was going to be the lamb. He had to pass that test first. So it's the same with us. We have a lot of situations now where we're being tested, small tests, but will you pass the test? Will you at all costs be able to pass the test? Because in the end, you want to be able to have the fire, that all-consuming fire, pass over you, right? Right. If you don't get that all-consuming fire passing over you, you're not going anywhere good. You're not going to get to go the happily ever after, right? So I know other people have been saying, you've been saying a lot of stuff. This is changing the subject, but could you explain the reasons why we shouldn't observe Thanksgiving? Not right now. I have that is a full change of subject. I have an article in the Kingdom Seller Vault that you can go get. So I'll put a link down here so you can go get our article on that so you can figure that out. Let's see. Kate's husband, yes. Who do you trust? Okay, how far do we go up? Thou shalt not bear, let's see. For his kingdom said, thou shalt not bear false witness. Bearing the mask is bearing a false witness. Yes, Yah is against cowards. Be bold and courageous for the truth. Correct. K, who do you trust? Government or Yah? That's how I look at it. That's right. We're trust Yehovah. Nadia, pray for every time you get hatzak. Every time you get ready to go to the store without a mask, ask Yah to commend his angels to protect you, and he is faithful. Yes, I do that all the time. It's like, Papa, give me favor. Give me your favor.
Yeah, I don't know the word hazak, but I do pray for cloaking, shielding. Yeah, to be hidden so I can just
go
move in and out like the wind. And sometimes it works.
Sometimes. Other times it doesn't, but sometimes it does. Chutzpah. It takes a lot of chutzpah, that's for sure. Kay, this is Katie's husband, by the way. Oh, hi. Okay, Kay. So you're not Kay, you're Mr. T. I've been chased down and cornered for not wearing a mask. I told them I do not fear men who can only destroy the body and fear But I fear Yah, who can destroy both body and soul. Yep.
Remembering that one this morning.
Yeah. I've been chased down too. Like, it's unbelievable how, like, they're like zombies that are just doing what they're told. And then K, Mr. T, Daniel 3 with the 4 who would not bow to the God Nebuchadnezzar erected. They were protected for their courage and faith. Yes. Yep. Yeah. So, okay. So I want to just go here for a second to how we are going to protect our minds, because I feel like our minds are an organ, right? And I feel like we need to have what the scriptures tells us solid in the front of our minds in order to protect the organ, our mind, because I think I think there's the potential for us to go insane like the world if we don't have the right focus. So let me just share with you what I see here. So this is a benefit. Is somebody else say? I think somebody. Beyond praise. I've just walked around with the flyer and don't say much. I have been kicked out 3 times, but mostly not bothered. Cool. Yeah, we made little like exemption tag things but I have it, but I don't need it. I've never needed it. So
I do. I've never had anybody ask to look at it or read it that I know of, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't walk in the most confidence, and it helps.
It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bethany, this is good. Thank you. You're welcome, Bethany. You're welcome. What's your advice for operating as sons and daughters of ambassadors of God? This is heaven in a land of democracy and not of democracy. I'm not sure. Land of democracy. Well, here's what I'm going to give you right now. Is what I really wanted to go for was just bringing you back to what the scripture says. So track with me, Bethany, and let's see if this helps what you're after there. So this would also be what I'm going to share with you. The path I'm going to go down here is also a benefit of the new covenant, of being in the new contract. As you know that I say, you have the first contract, then you have second contract, and the new covenant, as most of us know it as the new covenant. All right, so this is a benefit of being in the new covenant, which I think being in the new covenant and absorbing the benefits of it are going to help us keep our soundness of mind, because here's what it is. We're going to go back to being image bearers. So the idea of being an image bearer of love itself means that we're going to be little balls of love, right? And so love by definition is other-centered, okay? So everything that is selfish, that is a self-preservation sort of thing, that's sin, okay? So that's the problem, is self-preservation is the problem. Adam was trying to self-preserve at the tree because he didn't want to be found out for what he had done, that he had added to Yahweh's commandments. When Hava gets to the tree and she's talking to the snake, she didn't want to be found out. There's all kinds of, so it's all about self-preservation, okay? She actually wanted to be a better Ezer Kenegdo than she was already created to be when Yahweh said it was good. So she was trying to self-preserve and become a better one. All right, so we've got self-preservation as the problem. That is sin, okay? So other-centered love is living in this unselfish state, okay? So like I said before, like Ty Gibson said, you want to go mad really fast, you want to lose your mind really fast, then be all about yourself. Self-preservation, okay? And that's what I'm seeing out here is people in this self-preservation mode. For the most part, there's other reasons out there. People have other reasons, but the self-preservation mode, it's all about me, and you're going to go really insane, okay? So we will retain our minds and our hearts during the end of the age by being other-centered as Yahweh, as commanded by Yeshua to his priest. This is a literal, feel-it-now benefit of being in the new contract. There'll be no guilt as you will be loving others as Yah required. You will know what we are to do, okay? So to have soundness of mind, joy, and shalom, we are going to be other-centered. Now I want to show you something. So, did you want me to say, is there something else there? You're looking like you want to say something.
Oh, I was just pondering a comment.
Okay, yeah.
wondering if
Yeah.
if we have time.
Yeah.
Right now, what are you?
Let me just
into?
okay. So let me just move that, and then he can address whatever a comment in here. So I want to just suggest to you, not just suggest. I want to point out to you that both Yehovah and Yeshua talk about how to have soundness of mind, okay? And literally it is found in this other-centered love, to be love, a reflection of them, image bearer of them. You're going to operate in other-centered love. So we see in Isaiah 58 where Yehovah says, what is the fast that I desire? The fast that I desire is actually that you love one another, and we're going to I want to read that in a moment. So he describes what he sees as our job, what we're supposed to be doing all year long, not just on Yom Kippur, which is what Isaiah 58 is about. So I'm going to read that in a minute. Remember in Matthew 22:37, Yeshua says, love Yehovah, your Elohim, with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your everything. Okay? So if we're loving Yehovah and loving others and ourselves, you're going to be operating in this other-centered love, this circle of love. He says that's what we're supposed to do. End of story. And then you see, what I find really cool is you see this Great Commission in Matthew 28, 16 through 20, that I'm going to read to you in a second. So the Great Commission is what Yeshua said, the very last words of our rabbi, what he said for us to be about, what we're supposed to be doing. He didn't give a timeline on that. He didn't say, well, do this until you see problems and then go run to the hills and bury yourself in a tunnel and bury the light. He didn't say that. He said, do this. End of story. He didn't say how long you were supposed to do it. He didn't say when you could be done doing it. Okay. And I also want to note here, so let's see, where'd it go? Love you, made in their image. There's another one. Whosoever's, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no. Where is it?
On the backside?
Oh, no. Where's my... Well, also in Philippians, is that Philippians? Yeah, Philippians 4:8, it talks about guard your minds, whatsoever is true or noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy. Fix your thoughts on those things, and the shalom of El will be with you. So if you want shalom in your head and in your heart, you're going to fix your mind on these things, right? Whatsoever is true. That's the first one. Whatsoever is true. Whoa. Whatsoever is lovely or admirable and that sort of thing. So you know that really well. I'm going to go back to Yeshua's commission here in a second. But Yeshua actually said, right? Let's see if I can find it. Where did it go? Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay. Check this out. Matthew 24:45 to 47. Are you looking that up?
I can.
I
wasn't. I was looking at something else.
Were you?
But do you want me to?
Yes, please.
Okay, what is it?
Matthew 24:45 to 47. Somebody look up Matthew 24:45 to 47. We're going to look at that for just a second.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Read it again.
It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns.
And what was that servant supposed to be doing?
In charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time.
All right, so if we are feeding his servants, his people, feeding each other, when he comes back, what's going to happen?
It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. I tell you the truth, he will put him in charge of all his possessions.
Okay, this is super good news. Okay, so Yeshua HaMashiach is sitting on the throne next to Yehovah, who he has been given all things, and at some point he's coming back to bring his Melchizedek administration here to earth, which is going to happen perhaps in our lifetime. I believe so. And he is going to set up an administration here, and he's going to give us, who are doing what? feeding his servants up until the moment he comes. He's going to give them position. He's going to give all his possessions to him. I mean, hello, how do we skip over that? That's like a huge parable there that I think we need in this day and age to remember that this is not about us hiding. This is not about us fleeing right now. This is not I'm not saying that Papa won't say, you know, things to us at different times to do. I'm not saying that, but to make it a habit and part of your life to operate in that other-centered love is going to accomplish this. Now let's see. So he tells us this parable, but let's look at his final command. Okay? So keep in mind that parable that he told when he was here. All right, but when he's gonna ascend, the final commission is found in, why did I just forget? You want to say
Acts?
something? No.
I don't know.
Okay, where'd it go? Okay, where is it?
Somebody text me the Bible address of the Great Commission.
No, I know what it is. Where'd it go? Okay, where's the... Ah, maybe it's right here. Oh, here we go. Matthew 28, 16 to 20. Matthew 28, 16 to 20.
Oh.
Matthew 28, 16 to 20. So we're going to read it from the NIV, and then I'm going to read it to you in a better translation, a translation from the original Hebrew, Matthew Shem Tov Hebrew, and we're going to see what he really said. So let's listen to what is known as the Great Commission.
Okay.
Thanks for staying with us. Shabbat shalom. Okay.
Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee to the mountain where Yeshua had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Yeshua came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age."
Okay, so we're going to see whether he actually said that. What part of that did he say? Because that's always... okay, where is it? Talk to them, Isaac, while I find it. I thought I had it quickly.
I'll grab a little.
Okay. Oh, wait. It's on the very front. It's right here. It's on the very front of my... Okay, so here it is. Matthew Shem Tov Hebrew, on Matthew 28:19 says, Yeshua came to them and said, now listen, this is so important. This isn't me speaking. This is Rabbi Yeshua speaking. This is what he said right before he left. All power in heaven and earth has been given to me. Okay, right there, that should be really calming for our hearts, knowing that our rabbi, the one we follow, has been given all power, right? And he says in verse 19, you go to them, verse 20, and take care of them so that they fulfill all the things I have commissioned you. I am with you forever. Now, do you see how different that is? There's no going to the nations and baptizing in the name of the blah, 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 blah. There's none of that. What he says is, number one, remember that he's been given all the power, right? Number two, go to them. And who's he talking about? Who did he come for? He came for only the lost sheep of Israel. So he's talking about go to the lost sheep of Israel, the scattered. And then what are we supposed to do? Help them. Help them do what? Help them do all that I have commissioned you to do. So what did he say to do? Love each other. Love Yehovah, our Elohim, with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. So we got to know how to do that. So we need people to help us know how to do that. Love Yehovah with all our heart. Love others as you love yourself. So obviously you can't hate yourself and love others. So you got it. That's a two-way thing. What?
And that's connected to what people also mistakenly refer to as the new commandment.
Right.
That Yeshua gave.
Right.
I think that was at the Last Supper. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another. But it's not a new commandment because he's quoting from the Torah.
Right.
So it's not new. What it is new is he says, love them as I have loved you. How did he love them? He loved them by coming after the lost sheep of Israel,
right,
by seeking the scattered, which is what he was instructing them to do.
Right.
So, yes, love for sure. But again, don't miss the forest for the trees. Where is that? What kind of love, and how is that
Right.
love focused and carried out? And it is in seeking,
right.
in
Seeking,
this
right,
command here to go to the scattered.
right. So that's one thing we're doing. And going back to the bus, can't remember who suggested, who had that. Somebody was talking about the bus. We've got a bus that we're going to convert into a schoolie, and we're taking this literally, and we're taking Isaiah 58 literally, and we want to go to them. Go to them. So I feel like our ministry online has been is a motion in that direction. Go to them. So we have reached a lot of people through our YouTube channel and the other venues that we've been doing. All the things that we've done, the books and the ladies group and everything. That's been us pursuing them, the scattered. But now we're going to get into a converted bus, and we're going to go to them in another way, and we're going to help them do and obey Yehovah. That's what we want to do. Is we want to help in person, face to face. So when you look at your own life, look at what Yeshua said and said, am I doing that? It's not just for Isaac and Rebecca to do. It's not just for Teshuvah Ministries to do, or Michael Root and his team, or Jim Staley and his team, or Triumph for Truth and their team, or, these people have started ministries. It's not just for them. It's for all of it, all of true Israel, the true Jews who are obeying and following Yeshua, right? You're going to actually do what he said to do, which this is what he said to do. Right? He said, what did he say? He says, if you love me, you will obey me. And what did he say? He gave that new and quality love. That word new, Isaac was quoting what Yeshua said, he said, a new commandment I give you. That word right there is new in quality. He's going to give you a new and quality love that would actually allow you to lay your life down for a friend like he did, that live in that other-centered love. So that's my point with this whole thing, is that if we look at what Yeshua said to do, this is operating in other-centered love. So his last command before he leaves is literally operate in other-centered love. And I'm going to give you boundaries. Go to them and give them, and help them do everything that I told them to do. You're not going to go to them and help them, wear the mask. You're not going to go to them and help them do that, because that's a lie. That's going against the commandments. That's going against Papa's law. You're going to help them by helping give clarity. You're going to help them by encouraging them. You're going to help them by saying, how can I help you? Can I feed you? What can I do for you? You're going to live in that Isaiah 58 command, the fast that Yehovah loves and that he desires, which is us living in this other-centered love. You're going to have soundness of mind as you do this, as you live in this other-centered love. You're going to have the soundness of mind. You're going to be thinking about, what is true. What is true? Yehovah is true. Yeshua is true. The covenant is true. Being a true image bearer is true. Knowing what that means. All right. Yeah. There you go. That's basically what I wanted to say today. So, where are we?
Oh my gosh.
What's wrong? Yeah, so soundness of mind is achieved through other-centered love, which there's no other kind of true love. True love is we look at Yehovah, look at that family in heaven, and they live in that other-centered love. So true love, operating in true love, is what's going to give us soundness of mind. We're going to operate as a true image bearer of love itself. We're going to be other-centered and not consumed with ourselves. How do we do that? We see what Yeshua said to do. You don't make your own rules about how to love. So don't you put words in my mouth, people, and you say, well, I'm going to go love someone else by I don't know, what would be a way to put words in my mouth?
Tolerance.
Yeah, I'm going to go be tolerant of somebody's sin I have friends who are, or children that are participating in a lifestyle that the Scriptures is against. I'm just going to love on them and tell, don't you put those words in my mouth, because that's not what I'm saying. It's not tolerance. It's not tolerance. And don't you go say, let me go, be respectful. I've had friends tell me, I was in a grocery store, and one of my old friends, she like called out to me, and I didn't recognize her because she had the damn mask on, and I didn't know who it was, and she called out in a way that I knew. Then I finally knew it was her, and I was like, "What do you mean? What? Oh, you have a mask on?" She goes, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Why do you have a mask on?" Because I want to respect their, I want to respect their rules, and because I want to show love. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? So we're going to look at what Yahweh said, how he said to love, how Yeshua said to love, and do that. And if you operate in that, I believe that we're going to be able to navigate the end of the age with soundness of mind, thinking about the other person. How can I love according to what they're telling us to do? Which means you're going to go help them do what he said to do. You're going to clear the path. You're going to make level paths for people so that they understand where that narrow path is and how to obey so they can get to the happily ever after and be away from this nonsense. All this is going to go to hell in a handbasket. It's all going to be put in the abyss someday. When Yeshua comes, he's going to put all his enemies under his feet, and I don't want to be an enemy of him. And he says if you don't gather with him, then you scatter, right? And so if you're going to be scattering, you're an enemy of Yeshua. I don't want to be that. I want to be with him. I want to be with him. Yeah. I got going, man. It was a slow coming. Okay, what do we got? Yeah. I guess the matcha kicked in.
Uh-oh. I think you blew Nydia's mind.
Oh, no. Did I blow your mind? Nydia. Oh, my. Abaya is making this 2% battery last. That's good. That's good. Walter, love is the best message to share. Yes, just make sure that you're sharing the love according to the Scriptures. All right? So love itself, if you remember, love itself will destroy those who don't love according to the way he's expecting us to love.
Right. So not as the world. And as we mentioned earlier when we were getting started, we were talking about, the signs that we're seeing at businesses now. Spread kindness. Not COVID. So the new speak, people are redefining love as kindness, and then they're redefining kindness as doing what they tell you.
Right.
Being sheep.
Right, being sheep. So tread over the cliff. Don't be that.
Yeah, and participating in the lie and all that. So that's not the love we're talking about.
No. Yeshua defined the love. Yehovah defined the love. Love Yehovah. That means obey him. What do you obey? Go back to Exodus 19 through 24, and you'll find out what to obey. Yeshua said to obey. To love, and how do you love according to Yeshua? You go to them and help them do all that he commissioned them to do, which all he commissioned them to do is to obey Yehovah. He was the prophet sent, prophet that was he was the prophet that was spoken of, that Moses spoke of, that was going to come, that we must shema and obey. And so, he didn't come to trump Yehovah's law, his father's law. He came to restore, obedience to Yehovah. And, So what do we got? We got some more people.
Oh, I got one from Ali.
Oh, very cool. Cool. All right, so... All right, everyone. I know that I'm sure that for some this isn't what you want to hear. On one hand, I'm going to challenge you to reconsider your stance on the mask and everything. And I'm going to challenge you. Isaac and I are challenging you to exercise your conviction muscle, the ability to say no, because in the end, it's going to come down to the mark of the beast. And the last thing you want is to lose everything that you have worked hard for to get as far as your reward that's coming. Okay? And it is very clear in Revelation that if you take the mark, it's a done deal. It's game over. And you will lose your crown. That's what it says. So I'm not saying my own words. I'm just repeating what the Scripture says. All right? So we definitely want to see you at the Great Wedding Feast. I want to be there. But this is going to be a little bit of a navigation through the end of the age. And so I just wanted to bring to light how to do that with soundness of mind. And I believe with all my heart that the Scriptures makes it very clear how we're going to have soundness of mind, and that is through being other-centered according to how they are other-centered. They don't put up with sin. They don't tolerate sin. You know, they're very clear about what is love and what isn't. But they live. Yehovah is the most, that family in heaven, Yehovah, Papa, Yehovah, Mother, Ruach HaKodesh, and Son, Yeshua, they are the most other-centered entities in the entire, that ever been. They are it. They are other-centered. That's what they are. That's what love is. So they're asking us to live in their image. And the more and more you eat of Yeshua, the more and more you have the Ruach HaKodesh, which we're going to have an outpouring of the Ruach HaKodesh, which is another talk we'll talk about later, because that's an amazing thing. And, you know, the more you eat of Yeshua, the more you have the Ruach HaKodesh live in you, the more you will be able to be other-centered, absolutely. But I want you to not fear. Okay, the Scripture says fear Yehovah and not man, but I want you to just know, if we can say anything into your life, how we know personally how Yehovah will take care of us when He takes us into the wilderness. We've been there. We've been there a lot. But I got to say, you know, we were in a situation where, you know, it was if you didn't have wood, you'd freeze to death. We were living in canvas for 4 winters, and He would bring wood. Like somebody would show up with wood. Like crazy stories over and over and over. So I know He is capable. I know He is good. I know He sees us, and He does not change. He loves His children, and we are His children, and He will protect us. And just like the 3 that went into the fire, even if He doesn't, don't bow, because you want what's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, take this opportunity to practice as if it were the real thing, because the real thing's coming.
Yep.
And I wanted to comment earlier on I saw the word democracy. I think it was Bethany's. No. Yeah. And I mean, and just real quick, you know, we're not here to teach on politics and political involvement and all that, but I do know government is in place. Governments are put in place to protect our freedom, to secure our freedoms, and punish those who do evil.
That's the point of them. That's what they're supposed to do.
And the amendments are first and second especially, you know, that's there to secure, you know, our freedoms.
Right.
But we want to take y'all, you know, one step further beyond, you know, freedom. You know, bless those who fight for freedom.
Yes, absolutely.
We need that.
Yes.
So nothing wrong with that. But free to do what?
Right.
We've been
That's
set free and kept free to do what?
To do what?
And so we wanted to just get beyond those other trees and get
right. Free to do what?
To the call.
What are we free to do?
Of our rabbi.
I bet you can answer that. What are we free to do? We have been set free to teshuvah, to obey, to live in that other-centered love. First, loving Yehovah, which means you're going to obey, and then loving others by helping them do what Yehovah said to do so they can get to the happily ever after. And loving yourself so that you can, you know, obeying yourself so you can get there, right? All right. Somebody, I saw some other messages there. Can we, I think we'll, did you need, we'll close out here in a second. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to look at the last messages here. Yeah. Beyond praise, the King is, and Nadia, the King is coming. Beyond praise, thank you, Tammy. And you'll be blinded after that, and you won't be able to repent. I know, right? David, what if you wear a mad mask mocked? No, don't wear it. Don't, David, don't. Nope. It's just, putting it on is like agreeing with it. Bethany, beyond and higher. That's right. Okay, Mr. T, I was kicked out of a store. I exercised my rights, but the cops still told me I had to leave due to private property laws. I know, it's maddening. So, you know, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. Go find somewhere else to go, you know, and until you know, love your love opened my eyes today. Tammy, Kirk, tough love. Nadia, you blew my mind when you read the Hebrew translation versus what the NIV says. Yes, Nadia, yes. Love, not tolerance, Bethany, yep. Okay. Nadia, yeah, Isaac wants to speak. Yeah, sometimes I can tell, and he's like really wanting to speak, and other times I'm like, I don't know, do you want to or not? Bethany, this confirms much. Good. Tammy, thank you for answering my questions. Yeah, Walter, you'll be known by the fruit of love. That's right. That was the best to share. Okay, very cool. Walter, freely given, freely received. Nadia, it's been at 2% for 30 minutes. Oh, your phone! I thought you were talking about your own battery. I thought you were literal, like, in you battery. Bethany, bless you both. This is my first time on here with you too. Oh, well, I'm so glad you came, Bethany. Thank you for coming. And Gwen, thank you for being here. You're welcome, Gwen. Thank you, everyone. Let me just pray. We'll just pray together. All right. Yehovah Elohim, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, covenant maker, creator of all things, our deliverer, the one who loves us, our daddy, our papa. I just ask you with all my heart to be with your people, Israel, your people, your covenant people who love you, who are following your son and doing what your son asks them to do, which is to love you with all their heart, all their soul, all their mind, all their strength, all their everything, and then love others as themselves, and that they're going to go into the world and they're going to preach the gospel, the good news, which is that Yeshua is the way, the truth, and the life. Yes, and that we get life by obeying you and coming back and repenting from our pagan ways. Thank you, Yehovah Elohim, for sending your Ruach HaKodesh to help us during this time of the end to navigate the roller coaster ride that is happening. And on one hand, Papa, I am so excited that, we're on the threshold of you sending your son to come back and restore everything to your ways and to put enemies under his feet. I'm so excited for that moment. And on the other hand, just hold me tight, hold your people tight, and don't let go, as it's going to get a little bit, tricky, and we just want to have clarity and not be confused, and give us strength and endurance to endure to the end. As Yeshua said, those who endure to the end will be saved. And also help us to know your name, because you said, call on the name of Yehovah and we will be saved. So thank you for letting us know your name, Papa. Thank you so much, because your name will get rid of all evil. Your name will be the one that we need to know, so that we can get rid of evil and bring shalom and peace and joy, as well as protection as we slide down the end of the age. And help us to be light, Papa. Put your Ruach HaKodesh in us. And just like Hanukkah's coming up, and it's all about cleansing our temple and being a light for you. Oh, please trim our wicks and make our light bright. Yes, so that we can shine for you, and so you'll be pleased. So when we see you face to face, that you will say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Thank you, Mama Ruach HaKodesh, for giving us courage and for giving us shalom. Thank you, Yeshua, for being the bread of life, so we can eat of you and be perfect, complete, like you are. And be with your people, Papa. Amen. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this Shabbat, and we're going to go for a walk. Do you want to say anything else?
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. You good? You're good. All right. Shalom. We'll see you again. And let us know if you want us to do this again. And maybe we could do another topic. You can let us know if there's a topic you'd like Isaac and I to talk about. At one point, I'm going to figure out split screen, and we're going to do a split screen with my executive assistant, Allie, and maybe some of the other team members here at Teshuva Ministries. That'll be really fun to do too. All right. Shalom. Bye-bye.